Have you ever noticed how some people lose respect the moment they open their mouth? Not because of what they do, but because of what they say. Two people can have the same skills, the same intelligence, the same position, yet one is respected, and the other is quietly dismissed. The difference is not action. It's language. Most people believe weakness comes from failure or lack of strength. The Stoics knew better. They understood that certain phrases expose insecurity, dependence, and lack of inner control, even when spoken unconsciously. Every time you repeat them, you signal submission to the world. You give away authority without realizing it. Stoicism is not about silence. It's about disciplined speech rooted in self-mastery. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact words you must stop saying, if you want to stop looking weak and start commanding respect without asking for it. Phrase number 1, I can't. I can't is one of the most dangerous phrases you can repeat. Not because it's always false, but because it teaches your mind surrender. The Stoics made a clear distinction between what is impossible and what is uncomfortable. Most people don't say, I can't, because something is truly beyond their control. They say it because effort, discipline, or discomfort is required. Epictetus warned that the moment you declare yourself powerless, you abandon your inner authority. You stop trying. You stop adapting. You accept limits that were never imposed by reality, only by fear. A Stoic does not deny difficulty. He reframes it. Instead of saying, I can't, he understands. I have not trained for this yet. I am choosing not to act right now. This subtle shift restores responsibility, and responsibility is where strength begins. Phrase number 2, it's not my fault. Few phrases destroy respect as quietly as, it's not my fault. On the surface, it sounds like self-defense. In reality, it signals avoidance of responsibility. The Stoics believed that dignity begins the moment you accept ownership, not blame, but control. When you rush to explain why something is not your fault, you tell the world that your peace depends on being judged innocent. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that external events are not the problem, our response to them is. A Stoic does not waste energy pointing outward. He looks inward and asks, what is mine to correct? Blame fragments authority. Responsibility consolidates it. Even when circumstances are unfair, the Stoic chooses accountability. Because the person who governs himself never needs excuses, and never loses respect trying to defend them. Phrase number 3, seeking approval, spoken or unspoken. You don't need to say it directly for it to be heard. Every time you seek approval, your words soften. Your convictions hesitate. And people feel it. The Stoics warned against living in the minds of others. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the man who depends on applause becomes a slave to it. When you speak to be liked, you surrender control over your own judgment. Approval-seeking language often hides behind politeness, over-explaining, or constant reassurance. But beneath it lies fear, fear of rejection, fear of standing alone. A Stoic speaks to express truth, not to negotiate acceptance. His worth is measured internally, not voted on externally. The moment you stop needing approval, your presence changes. You speak less, but with weight. And paradoxically, respect follows, without being requested. Phrase number 4, I don't want problems. At first glance, this phrase sounds reasonable. Who would want conflict? But the Stoics understood something deeper. Avoiding problems at all costs is not wisdom, it is fear disguised as peace. When you say, I don't want problems, you often mean, I don't want discomfort. I don't want resistance. I don't want to stand my ground. Seneca warned that a life spent avoiding tension leads to quiet self-betrayal. Because values, boundaries, and principles are inevitably tested. A Stoic does not seek conflict. But he does not flee it either. He understands that firmness earns respect, while constant appeasement invites disregard. True tranquility does not come from avoiding problems. It comes from knowing you can face them without losing yourself. Phrase number 5, I'll explain myself. The urge to explain yourself often comes from anxiety, not clarity. You feel misunderstood, judged, threatened. But the Stoics believe that over-explaining weakens authority. Seneca wrote that truth does not need excessive defense. The more you justify yourself, the more you appear unsure of your own position. Strong individuals act first and allow their actions to speak. Weak ones try to manage perception with words. A Stoic knows when silence carries more weight than argument. He understands that not every opinion deserves a response, and not every misunderstanding requires correction. When you stop explaining yourself to those who are not seeking understanding, your presence becomes firmer, calmer, and unmistakably authoritative. Conclusion. Words are never neutral. They reveal your inner state long before your actions are judged. The Stoics understood that self-mastery begins with disciplined speech. Not silence, but intention. When you remove phrases rooted in fear, dependence, and avoidance, you do not become colder. You become clearer. Strength is not announced. It is sensed. A Stoic does not chase respect, explain himself endlessly, or surrender responsibility through language. He governs his words, and through them, he governs himself. Control your speech, and you will notice something change quietly around you. The way the world responds to you.